G'day, welcome back to AC's Make and Repair. Well, today on the channel, we're going to make a new blade for this spoke shave. We want to give it a go for a while. We've been wanting to see how the Mower blade may go to make a new spoke shave blade. So I found a blade that's the same thickness and it's just big enough to cut a blade out of. I've tried the blade out of this Stanley spoke shave. This is a record spoke shave and the Stanley spoke shave blade is exactly the same. And it fits quite well and works quite well in this spoke shave. I got this spoke shave a number of years back. Don't ask me where from. Probably was a clear out job from somewhere or clean up job somewhere. But I've got the cap and I've got the spoke shave frame. So I'm going to make a new blade today. So let's get into it. I'll show you how I did it. Wonderful day here today. As you can see, I've got to do some more digging down there in our little vegetable patch here yesterday afternoon, which was quite good. It's a beautiful, clear, coolish day today. Just thought I'd show you that. Because some people might be interested in what I'm doing with the veggie patch too. Okay, so here we have the record spoke shave. And here's its cap. Over here I have, this is a Stanley spoke shave. This is a curved bottom one. Doesn't really make much difference. The blade size is very similar. And this is a straight bottom one here. However, the blade on this is worn. So what I did is I took a blade out of this curved bottom one, which is about nearly, and this is the blade here, this blade's nearly a quarter of an inch bigger than the one on this way. Than the flat bottom one I've got that's had a fair bit of wear and use over the years. Probably quarter to 5/16 or something like that. So what I'm going to do is attempt to make one of these today. And of course, anybody that's watched my channel know that the steel I'm going to be using is of course Mower blade, because I've found it so good. And this one here is pretty well the same thickness if you look carefully, which is super duper, because some of these other blades have got this wide. They're actually a lot thicker, which is an issue because the throat on these spoke shaves is only so wide, and you've got to have clearance for the shaving to go through. So we're going to mark one of these out, and like that there, and it's got a nice straight edge, which is the rear end of the blade or the back side of the blade. I'm going to mark it out as close as I can to that hole, and then to cut the slots in these holes, that could be the fun part. Worst comes to worst, I'll cut all the way in from the side, which would be more than adequate to do what we need to do. However, if I can cut them the same, I will cut them the same. I've got a little Dremel type of tool. It's not a Dremel as such, but it's that type of tool. And I'll attempt to do this centre hole. And between a die grinder and that tool, I should be able to do that centre hole. I may be able to even get away with a 1/2 inch hole there. I'll work it out. If I can drill just a 1/2 inch hole, I'll do that and see how it goes. Right, let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is mark out that blade. I'm going to use a bit of engineer's chalk. The good part about the old chalk is you can grind it and wet it and it'll still stay there as a mark. It's quite good. Just line that bottom edge up. That looks good. I'm actually going to cut to the outside of these marks because I noticed the throat on this record one, and even on the Stanley one, is marginally wider than the blade. So it's about nearly 2 millimeters wider. So I'm going to mark all these areas we have to mark, like in here. Like I said, I will check this out first before I grind that out there. I'll go through and grind the basic blade profile first, and then we'll look at doing all this other stuff to the blade. Alright. Okay, that's our basic blade marked out already. So I'll go ahead now and I'll cut that out as per usual. I'll be using a little dripper bottle. It's just an old windscreen washer bottle. I'll be using that bottle just to keep it cool as I cut it out with the grinder with a thin cutting disc on it. And we'll do that now. Actually went off my mark a little tiny bit there. Not enough to worry about. I didn't go over the inside. I just cut it flush. We'll sort that out. Alright, so I'll cut the sides. I'll grind that profile on the top now. I will check to see if I can just drill a hole there without doing that, because literally you can't grind it past that point anyhow. So if I can just do a straight hole, I will do just a straight hole there. These I'll have to cut the slots for the adjustments. So we'll go and grind that now. Just going to give the back edge of that a bit of a flatten off. It's going to be hard to do it as such. Got a little bit hot. Not detrimental hot though. Not bad at all. These are all the old marks from when it was a mower blade. You're not going to get them out, but you might get enough out. You can only grind it to there, so I need pretty well 1/2 inch clear, which I'm not going to even worry about at the moment. I pretty well got it without even trying. If this was a new mower blade, it wouldn't be a problem. I'm going to leave it at that, because like I said, I can only grind it there anyhow and sharpen it there anyhow, and that's more than enough. So there we have our blank. Now, I probably won't clean this top edge up until I finish grinding, until I do all these holes, etc. And then I'll go through and I'll probably just lanish that top edge lightly. So it's just a matter of remarking some of these marks that should have been blurred out a bit through the process, and checking that hole to see if I can just do a hole there instead of a slotted hole. So I've checked out whether I can do a hole and what size that hole needs to be, and I've worked that out by putting the blade down fully and putting a mark on the inside there, which is that mark there, if you can see that mark, and then lift it up back with the flush with the base like that. Sorry, with the base like that. And I worked out that's where the two marks are. That's my further extremes. That's the most, that area there is the most I can go back with grinding, because it allows enough. So I've got that much use out of this blade basically. So I can do a 1/2 inch hole. I worked out if I put a 1/2 inch hole with the top edge here, as long as it's in center line, if I do a 1/2 inch hole with the top edge here, it will work fine. It doesn't have to actually go down that low. I could actually probably go further down, but I don't think my adjustment will allow it. No, I could go a fraction more. I could probably put a 5/8 hole if I wanted to, and I'll just see what I've got drill bit wise. I might be able to use a step drill and go even to a 5/8 hole and go a little bit higher even, but we'll work on that in a second. Okay, so I've drilled this hole here and it worked out perfect. That's actually 14mm hole, which is near enough to 9/16. I could actually go a little bit bigger, I worked out. When I push it down to the top of the hole, the adjusters would be at the maximum that they can go. So that works fine that way. Then when I pull it up to the bottom of the hole, it comes flush at the bottom there. So that's perfect size hole for that. You don't need a slotted hole. It works fine just like that. And then of course the cap goes in front of it like that. There you go. So now all I'm going to do is I'll clamp those two together like that. So it's nice and central. I'll actually drill through these holes, existing holes, so I'll get them exactly in the right spot, and then I can cut those slots. That's all I have to do. So if I cut them roughly at the right spot and make them wide enough, I've got a little diamond file that I can go through there, and it's a really fine one, and a needle file, little diamond needle file, that should do it fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll drill through and mark those holes with the drill bit, then I'll remove the top blade and drill them separately. There's the holes marked. Now I'll drill those holes all the way through. Put a bit of cutting agent, this is cutting agent. So now I have the 4 holes, all I have to do now is cut the slots. I've got the two back together. I'm just going to scribe down in here with this scriber. This is very hard material, this blade, this Mower blade. So I'm hoping this scribe will actually be able to scribe it. That's why I'm going to know where to cut. Yeah, good. It's actually scribing it, which is great. That tells me exactly where I need to cut. If I can actually file the last piece, I'll be more than impressed. And that will make my day, actually. So we've got our lines there, if you can see them. And I will now go through and try to cut right on that. Now I'll leave enough room so I can actually file that by hand if I can. Alright, so I should be able to get my little file on there now and do what I need to do. Rightio, that seems to be about right. Well, that's working fantastic, really. Works really, really good. Now all I have to do is grind the bevel, which is the easy part. This was all the hard part. That's working really good. Before I grind that, I'll give that a bit of a lanish, make that nice and neat on this front side. Then I'll put it in my grinding jig and grind it. Okay, here we are in at the grinding station here, and I'll parallel this in my jig. Sorry. So these 2 points from there to there are parallel with my rod, so I know when I grind, even though I'm grinding freehand, it keeps it parallel and nice and equal. I'm just going to have to watch it that I don't grind more on one side than the other. Some people tend to dish the bottom. I'm going to try to keep it as parallel as I can. I don't think there's any need. Same with plain knives, blades out of hand planes. Some people just bevel the edge off a bit. I try to keep mine square. It works well. Now I'll give this a grind now and get the initial bevel on it. Take it back until I get a burr, and then I'll finish it on a oil stone. Got my water dripper here. Grinding okay. Water. Coming up quite good. We're getting there quite good. Actually taking it very steady at the moment so I don't overheat it. Now if you have a look on this edge here, there's a little feathered edge there. It's just a burr starting to appear. So we know we've got that to a razor sharp edge. All I have to do that is drop that on a stone, or put it on a stone there and do the last bevel, and it'll be razor sharp for a spoke shave. Alright, just a little bit of oil down. I'm going to take it to the bevel. Now I'm going to put it on its back. And just do a couple on the back. Now we'll pretty well do it, I think. It's pretty sharp. Just coming off the grind of it sharp. And still a bit of a burr. I might just buff that last little bit, and just to strop that last little feather off. I could actually do this just to take that off. Needs a bit of a strop. Still got a bit of a burr on the back. Still got a little bit of a burr. Yeah, that's better. Go and give that a bit of buff. Okay, I went and gave that a bit of a buff just to strop it off, and I think that's sharp enough. Just going by the amount of hair that just shaved off my arm, I think that's sharp enough. So we'll give it a test run. No worries whatsoever. The steel on these blades is really good. I'd say it's as good as the genuine, and I've had great success with these mower blades for the steel on these small projects. As you know, anybody that's been following my channel knows that I love this steel. Works really good. I'm glad I gave it a go. For those that haven't seen it, I've made some carving knives, some chip carving knives out of this, and various other things out of mower blade, mainly the carving knives, etc. Go back and have a look at them if you want to. I did some scratch stocks too, out of a scratch stock out of this too. It worked really good too. They're on playlists there on homemade tools, etc. So there you go. That worked fine. Rightio, thanks for joining me as I made the SPOKESHAVE blade today. Mate, it was actually a fun project to do. I actually enjoyed doing that blade. I didn't think I'd get the internal slots on the top for the adjuster screws as good as I did. I was really impressed the way they came up, and it's amazing what you can do when you put your mind to it. Look, maybe it's been a help to somebody out there, if it has been. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up down the bottom there. That really goes a long way to helping and promoting my videos. I'd really appreciate it if at the end of this video you hit that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, and by all means share me with your friends and comment below. That would be appreciated too. If you want to see some more things like this, maybe throw me some ideas. We'll see what we can do. I can't promise anything, but definitely I was really wrapped the way this came up today, and it's come together quite good. I've cleaned the base up, the sole of the SPOKESHAVE up, and look, it works really, really good. I'm really impressed with the way it came up. That steel really holds the edge well. Thanks for joining us, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.